guys, I hope you're doing well. If you are new to my channel, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post multiple times a week. I focus all on the paranormal and mythological beings. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and that little bell. That way you don't miss a single one. So today we're going to dive down into the legends of will-o'-the-wisps. Now, if any of you guys are Disney fanatics, then you would probably have a little bit of an idea of what a will-o'-the-wisp is, just because in the movie Brave, Merida actually encounters will-o'-the-wisps. Now, if any of you guys are fans of the Spiderwick Chronicles, and you have this amazing book, I remember getting this book. I actually got this book at a book fair in school. But this book also has a will-o'-the-wisp page in it. And let me show you. Oh. And you can see all about will-o'-the-wisps. So, real quick, I do just want to give a shout out to a newer channel. I mean, I know that I'm still a new channel, but before I started making the videos, I was doing mystery boxes and selling them on Etsy. Now, my shop's name was Lotus Enchantments. So if any of you guys found me that way, that's really awesome. Thank you so much. And I decided to close down the shop because I really wanted to focus on my channel, because this is what truly makes me happy. It causes me so much joy, you guys. I am so incredibly passionate about these things. So I really wanted to put in as much effort and time as I could into my videos. So this new channel is actually called Stitches Ohana, and this guy who runs the channel, he actually bought the last mystery box that I made, and he also did a review on it. So I originally was going to different stores and actually getting things for the mystery boxes, and then with everything going on in the world, it became harder and harder to do that, so I had to rely more on actually crafting things for the mystery boxes. So if you guys want to check out what I made and what I put in the boxes, definitely make sure to, check out his channel. And so anyways, we are going to dive into the channel, or not channel, but we're going to dive into the stories of will-o'-the-wisps. Now, a will-o'-the-wisp is a phantom light in the wilderness. It lures travelers away from the beaten path. And most of these lights haunt moors and bogs of England. However, they have been reported all over the world. And they also have been referred to as different names, such as the Granther Willow's Lantern. Now, will-o'-the-wisps are very simple apparitions. They appear as balls of light, and sometimes they're so bright that they hurt your eyes, which is more rare. Or they are so dim that you actually have to squint your eyes to see them. Now, usually their light, even though that they are, this very, this ball of light, they don't illuminate any of the area around them, which is pretty crazy. Their colors can actually range from a soft blue to a dark red. The soft blue, though, is most common for people to see. Now, they are usually the size of a human's fist. However, they can range to be the size of a human's head or the size of a fingernail. So a pretty big variation of size. But if the will-o'-the-wisp is approached, they will fade away. or they would disappear from sight just to reappear somewhere else. And that's also if they're looked directly upon. And also if you walk towards them, they will actually move farther away from you. And if you move farther away from them, they will seem to be following you. So it's almost like they want you to follow them. Now, in some cases, a dark figure has been seen carrying the light as if it was a torch or a lantern. However, even though this dark figure is carrying this light, the figure is always too dark to tell any actual features. Now, travelers usually see a faint but definite flame, like light, in the distance, and it will seem to be flickering in and out of sight. Now, there is a theory that the wisp actually communicates using colors. And some say that a soft blue means that it is calm and undisturbed, whereas a soft red may indicate anxiousness or aggression. And a whitish color might actually mean that they're afraid. Now, the wisp floats above the ground or water, and they move slowly up and down or in circular motions. So ironically, even though it's said that the wisp generates heat, the ground beneath them is actually cold. Now, it's said that the will-o'-the-wisp is almost always malevolent. They often lead travelers onto dangerous lands, possibly a deep hole in a bog, or a kingdom of malicious fairies. It is said that the lights are carried by spirits that were shut out of both heaven and hell. Now, the classic will-o'-the-wisp, which is probably where it got its name, is carried by a blacksmith named Will. Now, Will was a huge troublemaker, and when he died and he went to heaven, he was sent back by St. Peter. And St. Peter told him that he had to reform in his second life in order to stay in heaven. So essentially, he got a second chance, you guys. But his second life was actually much more monstrous than his first. So St. Peter cursed him to roam the land forever. Well, roam the earth forever. Now, the devil, however, was very impressed by the awful acts that Will did during his second life. And he gave Will a coal to warm himself on the cold nights on earth. However, instead of using this coal to warm himself, instead, Will use this coal to make a torch and lure innocent travelers into danger. Now, another theory of what will-o'-the-wisps are comes from a story with a guy named Jack. Now, this is actually the story of how the jack-o'-lantern came to be. So, now the jack-o'-lantern is carried by a drunk named Jack. And Jack had sold his soul to the devil in order to pay his pub tab. Which is, I don't know, you guys. That's a really awful reason. I mean, I don't think you should sell your soul at all. But, yeah, so... But anyways, so he sold his soul to the devil so the devil would pay his pub tab. Now, when the devil returned from the pub to collect Jack's soul, Jack tricked the devil into climbing up a tree. Once the devil was up in the tree, he drew a cross on the ground beneath the tree, trapping the devil in its branches. Now, when Jack died, he was rejected at heaven's gates. So he had to beg the devil for a place in hell. Now, the devil was thrilled because he finally gets his revenge on Jack. And he cursed Jack to wander the earth with only a small flame for light. Now, Jack had put this flame in a turnip, and he used it as a lantern, and thus we have the jack-o'-lantern. So it's pretty crazy because it went from a turnip to a pumpkin, but now will-o'-the-wisps appear to be able to predict the future and will appear to people before their deaths or will flock to a site before a tragedy takes place there. They may also reveal where a thief or a fairy held hidden golden treasure. The wisp does appear to be partially solid, however, because instead of going straight through barriers and objects in its path, it will actually go around them. Or it'll disappear for a moment and then reappear on the other side. This might suggest that they have the ability to traverse into other realities, or that they actually go through space instead of time. Some say that the wisp has a hypnotic effect, and that's a lot of times why people follow it. I mean, okay, so I'd probably be one of those people because I'd be like, what is that light? And I would just start walking towards it. I mean, obviously pay attention to where you're walking, but I would be really curious on what it was. Now, some tales warn that the wisp is capable of feeding from the warmth of a living being, while others say that it's just a sentient spirit who aids travelers to safety in the dark of night. Now, the wisp has never been known to be summoned. There's no way to actually summon a will-o'-the-wisp. It will rarely appear in areas of high civilization. Now, they're also known to haunt graveyards, catacombs, and ancient ruins. So, as far as it is known, the wisp doesn't require any type of food or water to survive. Some researchers believe that they actually feed upon the mystical energy that permeates places of old magic. Now, others believe that the wisp is actually attracted to and possibly gains energy from people who are hopeless or in a strong negative emotional state, because that is who they often appear to. Now, some scientists believe that the light is just produced by a type of bioluminescent fungus or algae that often grows in marshy areas. Other scientists think that it's a mixture of gases that are responsible for these lights. But although this may account for some of the sightings, I don't think it accounts for all of them. Now, will-o'-the-wisp appear in Europe's written record around the 13th century. But they are known all over the world. And they were known far before this, told by word of mouth. Now, the oral tradition of Cornish, Nordic, and Aborigine people warn against the dangers of these phantom lights. Now, to me, you guys, these apparitions are so interesting. And I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that the will-o'-the-wisp is actually this malevolent apparition that wants to harm people? Or do you think that it wants to help lost travelers to safety? And what do you think that these creatures are? Do you think that they are, spirits of the dead? Or do you think that they are Jack? Or Will? Or just bioluminescent fungus? So I really want to know your guys' opinion on it. They're so unique from a lot of the different, so a lot of mythological beings are very unique, but I don't know, they're so simple. I don't know. I think they're interesting. So if there is anything that you guys would like me to dive into, whether it's, witch-related, mythological being-related, paranormal-related, any of those topics, definitely reach out to me. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not yet, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me, you guys. And I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next time.